sequential thinking. On the subject of green design principles, I remember giving a public lecture in December 1994 at Danishkai, Tehran, and I seem to remember being hauled over several coals by some notable critics. It wasn't a particularly popular lecture in some quarters, but I was trying to make not so much a series of points, but try to influence the way people thought about architecture, the environment, and so on. And if the lecture was unpopular in some ways, the Iran news desk phoned me up about this lecture and asked me to write an article based on it. So I actually went ahead and did this. And in fact, here's one of the 3 editions that they came up with, going back to February 1995. And I would like to actually read something which I wrote and actually forgot all about until relatively recently. And here's my quotation. "It should be relatively straightforward for the various schools of architecture throughout Iran to undertake studies of regional housing and other building types, not only from an aesthetic or cultural stance, but by concentrating on analysing these buildings as climate modifiers. This means that an understanding of the building technology, the efficiency of the building envelope, and the incorporation of natural phenomena within the building's internal environment will each offer major clues for an appropriate contemporary approach to design. Such data can be further analysed under computer scrutiny." Now, it seems to me that Vahid Ghobadian has actually commenced this approach, and I think in turn it can lead to other advances in understanding architectural design. So these words, an appropriate contemporary approach to design, are obviously tied up with the green principles. But green principles, in turn, they ask us questions. They ask us questions particularly about the context of sustainability. Now, to me, sustainability is the issue of all issues in this 21st century. And it's such a phenomenal subject area in itself. I mean, just to try and understand it from the different scales is impressive enough. The planet, the nation, the region, the cities, the countryside, the landscape, the gardens, individual buildings, and so on. So how can we really address such a monumental subject area in the context of architecture, let's say? Well, it seems to me that Iran has a tremendous opportunity here. It has the opportunity to review its entire educational system. It seems to me that children from kindergarten age all the way up to university should be imbued in the principles of sustainability. It seems to me that the structure of the professions, architecture, engineering, and so on, need a review in this unfolding context. And obviously, sooner or later, new building codes and regulations will be implemented to acknowledge green building principles. So, ladies and gentlemen, it seems to me that Iran is poised at the moment in a number of ways, but if we concentrate on the environment, sustainability, and so on, there's an opportunity to restructure the way we think, the way society reacts to its environment. And on that subject of the environment, there's one other suggestion I'd like to make. Why don't we consider creating universities of the environment where, again, this idea of respect for the natural world and everything in it and on it becomes very, very appropriately clear. Iran could lead the way by taking the initiative. And I think it's through publications such as Dr. Ghobadian's that we can suddenly reappraise where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. Azinke tapayani, sokhani, manbor, bari, nemodid, mushakaram. Bedustani mandariran, salam berisanid.